Hello, everybody. Всем привет. I'm starting today to work some more, just adding more features to the battlefield. Um, Currently, we have the cursors working. Um, we have this hero screen working. We have some of these tooltips working. I love this little animation. That's a start of what's to come. Um, so it feels okay. That's a little weird where we got something going on there, but that's our starting point today. And so I tell it, of course, I've been rebuilding the game engine from 1995 for Heroes of Might and Magic 1. Working on the battle screen, I have basic battlefield rendering with backgrounds and hex tiles and objects and creatures and hero tent, basic cursor functionality and computed possible movement tiles, um, basic menu display for creatures, loading of creature data, basic walk in place animation for the info dialog box. Next, I want to actually move creatures between tiles and animate the movement. These use the frames in walk to animate each movement between tiles. Have creatures be able to melee attack each other and compute damage. These use the melee attack frames. We will do projectile and two-tile breath attacks later to do. Have the attacked creatures counterattack if able and using their melee frames. We need to compute a movement path for each creature in terms of hex tiles. The creature must move to an adjacent hex tile to another creature to be able to melee attack it. Once the creature is on the correct hex tile, then we need to determine which attack frame to use based on the relationship of the hex tiles. We also do something like this for combat mouse to indicate which direction the attack should go. Certain attack frames like wolf, griffin will be rotated 45 degrees to make the attack animation. See some of the example pseudocode. When it's a creature's turn, the creature can be moved to a tile, either a walking animation, one full stop of animation per tile transition, or one cycle of flying animation per tile transition. If the tile they move to is adjacent to a creature with a mirrored orientation, that creature can attack that creature on that tile as well and do an attack animation. Creatures that take up 2 hex tiles, we'll call them big creatures for short, track by an is-wide function. We have cavalry, wolf, unicorn, centaur, hydra, dragon, and nomad. So these horse-based creatures and the wolf, hydra, and dragon are all wider. I maybe the phoenix is too. I have to double check now. I'm not sure about the phoenix. I think it might just be a single. I think the phoenix might not be wide. Cyclops is not. Even though phoenix and cyclops can attack 2 squares, they only take up 1 hex tile. So creature retaliation. The first time a creature receives an attack, they retaliate. They can only retaliate once after a received attack, with 3 minor exceptions. Rogues and sprites, the enemy cannot retaliate against their attack, and griffins have unlimited retaliation. They can retaliate for every attack they receive. The damage animations, creature attack damage is animated one of every 5 different ways. They're located in physical, blue fire, red fire, electric, and cloud. So I wanted to show you what these are. This is physical, so it's this cloud of blood. Blue fire is this engulfing fire of blue. Red fire is very similar, but it's red with slight modifications. I feel like the graphic designer behind this just made some minor changes between them. The cloud, this is genies and ghosts do the cloud damage here. And then electric, this is actually from sprites and unicorns do electric damage, which is kind of interesting. Red fire is from the phoenix and the druid. So The electric and red are all from the Sorceress. The blue fire is from the dragon and the gargoyle in the warlock faction. Cloud is from neutral creatures, the ghost and the genie. And physical is pretty much everybody else. So actually, why did physical disappear? Did I close that? Okay, well, let's try this here. Go back to physical here. So there's one more comment I want to make about this, and that's when a creature gets hit, they get to about the first 2 or 3 of these tiles is just a hit of damage. And or actually, I think it's maybe 0 through 3. If a creature is killed, you see these 3 animations. If the creature stack is totally eliminated, then 004 is big enough to cover the entire creature, and then it disappears after. So the 5 through 9 is the fade out. 4 is the actual, like, the cloak that the magician hides the disappearing thing behind. And 3 is all that is displayed if a creature is actually, a creature stack is actually just damaged, and maybe some of the units die. And let's see where we're at. So yeah, here I explain which creatures cause which damage. It's superimposed, and 4 to 10 are animated where the creature sprite used to be. Otherwise, the damage animations for 0 through 3 are run through. And the number of creatures is decremented by the damage divided by the number of remaining hit points, etc. I give it some of these spec files here, which just give it some of the offsets, the different values. I'm attaching the file mapping for those animation frames. Let's integrate it into the structure. So we run through, do some of this. So I give it a bit of a push because it didn't quite get the animation how I wanted it. And the ICN files are somehow, again, being corrupted by the decoding. It writes its own ICN decoding function every so often, and I have to just give it the ICN CVP and ICNH so it knows which methods already exist and to use those. And and then also there's a zero-based indexing error with how the army is being stored. The Phoenix is being displayed as a paladin, and again that comes back to this situation. So once I reordered this, that went away. So that was relative to these creature ID structures. This had gotten changed back again. Classic hallucination where it reverts to your old code because it was in there multiple times or something. It just can rear its ugly head at any time. One of the classic AI coding problems. So anyway, did some updates on the creature sprite stuff. It really goes off a long way. Highlights the correct creature CSV stats. I have to go through a couple times because it still somehow keeps outputting this incorrect CSV table. So I give it some more info, give it a couple more shots, get some other things mirrored, and it still has some trouble. Now it's starting to render my creatures as these weird corrupted sprites from, this is like the corrupted frame 1 from my sprite files, which when I first decoded them, it wasn't decoding this correctly, and this was reverting somehow to this old version. And I don't know how that happened, but I created a new table here to highlight which frames were which. I think I made a Made an update here to ignore this animation. So it discards this noise as seen in frame 1, and then frame 2 is our default, frame 3 is death, 4 and 5 are basic melee, and then 6 and 7 and 8. For most creatures, they just have 1 or 2 overlays for attacking. For the breath creatures, the dragons, the cyclops, the phoenix, they have another 6 frames beyond this. And then like the wolf and the hydra don't have any composite frames. And so anyway, we go through all this, and then there's no sprites being shown, and Claude was just not working very well. So we kick this around some more, and basically I think it had picked up an empty frame instead. So it was deleting some frames that were not being used. And I'm still giving it some pushes here. It does a diff. And I don't actually remember if this battle screen worked or not, but let's take a look at what, oh wait, this is the wrong build. So let's see what I think this was. I think this was the result here. So we'll skip this. And we can move our... So you'll notice that like all of the animations are happening over this first, wherever the first attack happens, that's where the damage happens. No one is being killed. So nothing, the damage is not being computed correctly. But we're sort of able to do some stuff here, you know. It's kind of working. And the dragon is wide, but he's not being registered as, so it's just a little funny, you know. It's that was the state when we started. So I start over with a new prompt, new session. I give it the different specifications. Now, I should point out, I want to just go through and do this once more here. Whichever creature type attacks first, I believe that's the damage that's then assigned. It's kind of arbitrary as to which creature is being assigned the damage, and also which type of damage is being assigned. So, like, there are cases where it can be the damage animation is, well, it can be a little bit random. So, see, that was red fire. And I guess that one creature did get killed, but it's the accounting is just kind of all over the place. So it's random. And so I want it to be more deterministic. Like that's not too much to ask. So the creatures are not taking damage and dying, eliminating a creature stack from the screen. The battle also is never over in this case. The damage being taken by creatures is being animated as a single physical.icn damage animation, the first creature of the opponent. The damage should be taken by the defending creature, which also takes the F3 damage frame. The type of damage animation should be incorporated based on the ID of the attacker. Now that's kind of working. Like the Phoenix is causing red fire to happen. The creature damage is animated these 5 different ways, which I copied from my previous prompt, etc., etc. I believe those are already reloading. The logic is that these should be selected based on the attacking creature ID. The animation happens on the creature being attacked. And I'm just trying to get that to be more consistent. And so it goes through, determines that it has a few bugs. Okay, and so let's look at what that turned into. Oh, these poor peasants. These guys are not going to have a good day. So you'll notice that the peasants are dying in their correct order, but now nothing's highlighted. Why is that? Because it's giving us the option for, probably for this guy that was killed, we have to skip him. And then maybe we... Okay, so he attacked me there. And he died from the counterattack. And so we're having to skip some frames, and then he attacks, and then the battle's over. And the creature's still there. So should we fight him again? The game isn't registering that it's over, but let's do some more here. So somehow I have to skip him, and he's arbitrarily going to attack me. Skip this dead guy, skip the other dead guy. Now my paladin can go attack, and so it's kind of working. The animation is wonky, but this is a big improvement. So we're getting like a basic creature functionality. So now I'm saying when the creature dies, it should be skipped in the turn selector. Currently, the battle is pausing when the neutral opponent creatures have a dead creature selected for its turn. I'm manually having to skip over that creature in the turn selector. This should probably happen in the death cleanup phase after a creature stack is eliminated. Also, can we do the animation slower, such that the animations move 1 cycle of movement animations per hex tile, so that it takes longer for the creature to move across the screen to the tile they need to go to, and we can actually see the animation, because right now it's happening a little too fast. It'd be nice to slow down the attack animation so that it happens over a second. Can we look at the end of the turn determinations? Like, I think it should be something like this. This is kind of some pseudocode for this, right? So it reviews some things and says, oh, we need to determine the end of the round or the end of the battle. We need to look at the battle trigger. That's where the event data is. So I drop battle trigger. It has a bunch of noise. It does a whole bunch of processing. Gives me these options, and I'm still not happy because basically there's no difference in this generation, because it's not processing the creatures. Like, once the battle is over, the creatures are still on the map. These random creatures, these C3, C4, C5, C6 from the byte 8 map tile, those creatures are still present. So they're not being removed from memory or processed correctly that the battle was successful, that the hero won and the creature was eliminated. So then we move on, and so now it's starting to look for this monster stack state and going through some things, and it still didn't work. So after the first cycle of attacks, the creatures on the right side only do 1 round of attacks. Can we make them attack each turn and reset after all creatures have had a battle turn? So I wanted to double check where that is going with the map stuff. I actually just stopped it because I realized it's going off into some weird, like, like, I hate it when the AI does this. It's like, now I understand both bugs completely. I think both bugs need to be fixed here. The real issue is this. Like, it's the AI is just talking itself in circles. And I just hit stop, wasted a whole bunch of tokens on that, gave it the map format and said, okay, look, it's this 9A fixed monster and these 0xC3. These are the byte 8 functions that we need to like clear. That's what we should be looking for. And this L1 value from Mons32 will only be populated for this, not for these values. Let's fix this and then fix the previous battle screen issue that after the first full round, the neutral creatures stop attacking. So it restates my problem pretty well. Gives me some fixes, a whole bunch of stuff. Gives me some of these. And I'm actually pretty happy with that end state, which I'll show you now. So let's buy some stuff. Take some more dragons. Some of these guys. Let's pick up, how about some wolves? The wolves will be better than the orcs because I don't have ranged units can't attack yet. So these poor archers are sitting ducks. And I also like that the sound effects are working. Sort of. Now the archers are able to do melee attacks, and they're trying to. But it's just not going to work out well for them. That was a little tricky to get that last blip to work, but hey, the creature has disappeared. So, you know, that's a pretty good outcome. So next, I just fill out some of this documentation and explain kind of how some of this was working and update my architecture file to include these new battle resources and battle screen files. And that's pretty much where we've stopped. So we still have a lot of work to do on the animation. We still have to add in spell casting, which you know, what's interesting about the spell casting stuff is if we go up here. So actually, why don't we go to like electric? There's actually a directory here next to electric called elect fire. And this is a mixture of electricity and fire. And I think that this is from lightning bolt. So this is like a spell from lightning bolt. There's also another one where it's, I think it's near physical. There's some really strange damage animations. Red Death, yeah. This, I think, is probably from Armageddon, but I'm really not sure what this one is. That's a crazy, like, or could it be from Fireball? I'm not sure which. I have to test a lot of the magic stuff to see what causes these different animations. But we basically got the physical damage animations added. We have to definitely work on the hex tiles of the wide creatures. We have to work on the dual tile attacks of the Phoenix, the Cyclops, and the Dragon. Definitely some work on animations, but you know, the broad strokes of a battle are now happening. At least the might part of the battle is happening. We still need to work on the magic part, but the might part is starting to take shape. And yes, it needs a lot of polish, but we're getting there. We can eliminate those creature stacks. You know, we still need to add in castle battles. We need to add in heroes battling each other. on heroes battling each other on the sea, heroes battling each other in the castle. What happens when you conquer another hero? You need to take their artifacts up to, you know, however many you can carry in your bag, and the rest get assigned to the hero, and then they can be recruited later, and you can get those artifacts by recruiting them later. There's also the possibility of, well, not the possibility, the requirement that we calculate the experience after the battle as well. And I know in the original game, there was a bug where both trolls and cyclops give you 60 experience, but cyclops have 80 hit points and trolls have 40, so they were both averaging out. So I'm going to fix that in this version. I'm going to do it probably as the programmers intended. But yeah, one of the next things I'll have to do is generate that experience screen at the end of the battle, associate the experience with the hero, and and then I'll probably start adding in some spell books, some spell book animations, some different attacks. I don't actually think the spell book stuff is going to be that bad, but we'll see. And I don't know how long it's going to take me to start really tinkering with the animations, because some of the X offsets might be off. There was something weird with the sprite, like if okay, well, we didn't get a sorceress, but let's try and see if we can get a sorceress. Here we are. So we've got some sprites in the sorceress here. And if we click here, there's this little blip of animation where the garbage frame is being added. This little white bar is one of the garbage frames. And so, you know, there's little things like that that are bothering me, and I'll have to fix those. But I think the main thing is getting this structure in place, and then it's actually a little bit easier to go into the AI when you can specify exactly which frames are happening for this creature or that creature. It can build up a table much easier and like fix a lot of these little bugs. I think the animation stuff is most annoying to me right now, but it is functional from a battle perspective. Also, the directional attack of the sword is kind of working, but that needs to be improved too. So there's a bunch of stuff that's wrong, but it's to the point where it can be polished, and that makes me rather optimistic.